dairy farm I'm visiting today is on the Great Ocean Road, close to the little town of Nullawarre. The property borders the ocean, and although the farmhouse is about 4 kilometres away, you can hear the waves crashing most days. The bedrock of this land is limestone, and the soil is sandy, so it's hard to keep water in dams. But the limestone contains a substantial aquifer, which is used to water the cattle and irrigate the paddocks. The farmers here have been trialling a multi-species pasture crop on 4 hectares.
My name is Andrea Vallance. I live on this property with my husband Bruce, and we milk 800 cows in southwest Victoria, just off the Great Ocean Road.
I'm Bruce Vallance, obviously married to Andrea. We've been farming here for 30 years. We've got 750 acres here, or about 286 hectares, and we're on a light sandy loam because we're quite close to the coast. We wanted to get involved in the regenerative ag project partly on the behest of our children, who think we should be doing more for the planet and for carbon farming, and also for us for trialling, because we think we want to be doing the right thing environmentally, and trialling what improvements we might make to our grazing system to be more carbon neutral or sustainable in the longer term. So last year we did baseline tests for the soil in the paddocks where we've got our trial set up to look at carbon levels and the health of the soil. And then we had two different treatments really in 4 plots. And so we put some compost on one half, and also across that other half we also did a soil key. We actually used the soil key drill to drill in some summer crop, and then after the summer crop was grazed we put in the winter annuals, which is normal. We didn't do the summer crop this year, just looked like we were going to be late and the soil moisture dried out a bit. So we're just getting ready now to put our multi-species winter crop in. The summer mix, we had reasonable soil moisture when we started, so we used the soil key drill to put these in, which just chips out a little bit of soil, probably 6 inches apart, and puts the seed in without disturbing the soil too much. So it was 4 kilos of millet, 1 kilo of sunflowers, 2 kilos of buckwheat, 3 kilos of tillage radish, and then some leafy turnip and red clover and some forage rape. So it really was a multi-species mix, which grew quite well. So because we've got a sandy soil, the soil key actually worked quite well here, because it could actually bite into the soil and make a bit of a divot for the new plants to get established in.
As we were told when we started out, the difference between a good farmer and an average farmer is 2 weeks. So as with all things in agriculture, it's all about timing, and it's just having the soil key available and the crop going in at the optimum time. That would maximise the benefit in that area as well too.
And then, as Andrea pointed out, 20 or 30 mils of rain about a week after we put it in didn't hurt either.
Bruce told me that the cows don't like change, and it took a bit of time for them to get used to dining on such a mixture of plants.
The funny one was the summer grazing, where we had quite a good strike of sunflowers, and the cows really didn't know what to do with them, so they just sort of sat under them for shade for a while. And then they realised they could eat them, and then they ate them all. With the trial and the carbon improvements, we're looking for a long-term trend. We don't expect to have a real jump and we'll change everything overnight. We don't expect that. We expect over a trend of maybe 5 years that will improve, and over 20 years we'll even see more. So definitely we're in there for the long haul to look at how these technologies can help our sustainability. The acreage, we could have been on smaller plots, but we selected a 4 hectare paddock, so there was 1 hectare in each of the trial plots. So quite a big area, so that hopefully the cows didn't camp it all in one area and sort of sway the results. So it should be quite interesting to see how it all goes. Will we make money out of it? That is the goal, and if we get the benefits that we think we're going to get, definitely by having a healthier soil, which is the basis for our farm really, we'll definitely be better off. We'll hold more moisture in the topsoil, we'll potentially have less weeds and just a all-round healthier soil. With the fertilisers, we're on the light sandy coastal soil, so until we can establish legumes regularly and profitably to a significant level, we'll be still adding fertiliser. So maybe that's a longer term goal, is to have reduced fertiliser. But at the moment, we're just continuing with our normal fertiliser, hoping the legumes can find a home and get going.
The multi-species crop complements the suite of measures we're already taking. We already spread effluent from the effluent pond through the fert pivots all over the farm. We have 3 pivots where the effluent can be spread. We use the compost is generated from pine chips that we use in our calf shed, that are then used on the tracks to help the cows walk over muddy or difficult areas in winters. And then this is also collected and put into the compost, which is then spread over the more friable soils with not quite as healthy areas as other parts of the farm. We already monitor the irrigation with probes that relay that data back to the dairy, so we can keep on top of our irrigation and minimise wastage. We also are keen on putting in some more vegetation plantings for biodiversity and windbreaks. We're just working through some of those at the moment.
The Doolan's Dairy Farm at Eckland South has been involved in the Resilient Farms project since 2018. The Vallances have visited the family on many occasions and been extremely impressed by what they've seen, particularly when it comes to energy saving in the dairy.
For the energy savings in the dairy, reclaiming the heat off the chillers to heat our hot water, a few solar panels, and just better lighting in the dairy, more efficient, and just really tuning up the dairy to get the most out of it. So, and to the best of our knowledge, we're above the average per cow, so that's encouraging. And it's just about closing the loop, so to speak, just trying to keep everything that you make. If it's heat, use it somewhere. If it's cool, use it somewhere. Whatever. Don't waste anything.
It's the energy savings, but also the cost saving. Like running the effluent water through the pivot, that saves $7,000 in that year from just spreading that all over the paddock too. But the energy savings through the dairy and reclaiming heat and saving power would be
more in the order of 20 to 25%, I'd say.
Yeah.
definitely, I think the principles of regenerative farming and improving your soil carbon, having healthier soils, having healthier cows is everyone's goal. So I think why wouldn't they be a goal? So just the mechanisms that we do it by is the only thing we're trialling to try and work out how that fits in our farming system. So there's not one system suits all, I don't think, at this stage, so we'll just see how all that works out. The main benefits for the regenerative ag is if we're growing more tonnes of grass on the farm, that's number one benefit, and just a better resilient to droughts, and just being healthier soils that don't blow, and keeping a cover on the farm, because in the summer it can get quite dry on the sandier hills. We don't want to lose our cover on those areas. And we're always looking at the health of the cows, how that fits into it. I think farmers are under a lot of stress with climate change and the way things are happening. If you've got a more resilient farm, I think the stress level of the farm would be less if you've got a resilient farm. So if you've got your soil in good health, you're growing extra tonnes of grass or feed, I think it's great for the land, obviously, but also I think it's good for the farmers, just their mental health part of it, in that you're just feeling like you're on top of it. The biggest challenge would be heat. I think if the summertime heat, if it does get away on us and we regularly get those days over 30 degrees that are too hot for the cows, too hot for pastures, I think it would change our system. Once the ryegrass is over 28 degrees, it's struggling. The cows, anything over 25, and they're starting to show signs of heat. So we really want, I think the heat is going to be the issue, potentially more so than rainfall on our system.
Andrea and Bruce are keen to trial methane reduction methods on the farm. They're interested in biochar, especially as there are so many ageing cypress trees on their property. Andrea has another reason to explore new methods of farming. Originally trained as a teacher, she works one day a week as the coordinator for the Timboon Agricultural Project, or TAP, which is run in conjunction with Timboon P12 School.
The TAP, the Timboon Agriculture Project, is a partnership between Timboon P12 School and the local industries and community around it. So the teachers will talk to me about what they're doing in the curriculum, and I will find partners or individuals who can support what the teachers are doing. For example, we've taken a class out to Sinclair's farm to look at the multi-species crop. Jeff Rollinson has taken classes talking about biodiversity and pest management and Landcare, and it's about accessing the resources in the community to support student learning and engage and inspire teachers. We focus on ag initially, but it's also about building resilience in the community and promoting careers right across the industry, and we try to provide applied learning and hands-on opportunities every chance we get. And agriculture is a great vehicle to do that with. I know there's 500 students at the moment, and it goes right from P to 12 right across the curriculum at some stage or other. So we are in history lessons, in English literacy, in maths, science, biology, art, politics, commerce, right across. It's been going for 10 years, and it's really rewarding and really satisfying how many people in the community have supported it. We've had over 507 people either face-to-face talking to students or providing teacher PD. So it's like the community's embraced it because they can see the benefit of using actual examples and real hands-on learning to engage students. And people who are passionate about what they do are more than happy to share. And it's very humbling and it's wonderful to be involved in. I think it's interesting, and we try not to make it dairy specific. This week, for example, we have a cray fisherman, an eel fisherman, and an abalone diver coming talking about seafood, and we're doing native foods in science. So we're talking to local chefs and distilleries and the ice cream makers about how you conjure up flavour and make a palette and combine them to make complementary flavours in a dish. So students learn how to mix things up and what flavours they're looking for in native foods is the topic this time. So it's about just using our community as a springboard to learn. So it can be anything.
As my visit drew to a close, our conversation turned from multi-species pasture to Andrea and Bruce's multi-talented children, and finally to the farm's multi-breed dairy cattle.
So we've got 3 children. One daughter, just over 30, is a vet in the local area. Our son's a mechanical engineer in Canada, and Casey's a nurse in Warrnambool doing diabetes educating. The daughter who's a vet is looking to do more on the farm. She's finding it interesting and may eventually take over managing the farm.
So the 3 children have bought into our business, into the operational side of our business. Geordie, the vet, is here 2 days a week at the moment, but she's taken some time off from being a vet and travelling. And then when she comes back, she'll become more hands-on in the business, maybe to assume a leadership role moving forwards.
So went to a 3-way cross. We had a mostly Frisian herd with some crossbred animals in it, and we just wanted to have more of a breeding plan for the dairy herd. So we instigated the 3-way cross, which is to boost our fertility and hopefully to have the same milk production as what a Frisian herd would have.
Our 3-way cross comprises of Montbéliard, Aussie Reds and Frisians, and we went down that path because of the hybrid vigour and good health traits, good fertility. Calves are very easy to rear, and it's been a way forward definitely for us.
So we've been doing the 3-way cross for about 8 years. So we've done a complete round and on our second way round now. So we've had the Reds over the Frisians, the Montbéliards over the Reds, and then the Frisians back over the Montbéliards, and then and now Reds are going back over the Frisians type thing. So we've got about 40% Frisian side cows in the herd, about 30% Red and Montbéliard.
Another benefit from the 3-way cross is the calves that result. Obviously the heifers are really vigorous and healthy, but also resulting bull calves, if we don't use sex semen, there's a market for the beef bulls because these animals are big and strong, and we tube them quality colostrum as soon as they're born, and there's a good market for them straight away. So that's one way of dealing with the replacement calves and not having bobby calves in our system.
One of the reasons we did the 3-way cross is to obviously capture some of the hybrid vigour, which when we were doing pig farming more than 30 years ago, we were using a terminal sire line or a crossbred type herd then. So now we're looking at and to my knowledge, the dairy industry is the only industry that uses a purebred line for their terminal or their production animal. So it seems to make sense to use the crossbreds to combine all the good traits, hopefully, and utilise that hybrid vigour. For a long time, the Frisians were the top producing line of dairy cows. And obviously with genomic testing and all those sorts of technologies that have come in now, all the other breeds have had a big kick up because you can quickly identify the best animals accurately to add to your herds. And then if using the crossbreeding, you get the hybrid free kick, which is usually a 10% gain in the production of the animal over a number of traits.
Our herd was originally a Jersey herd, and then that evolved into a crossbred herd, and then we tried some more Friesian to get milk volume, but we didn't have the solids that we wanted, and then we just crossed more frequently, and eventually this system was introduced to it, and it suits our grass production system because we're a grass-based dairy system, so we need animals that are going to have good feet to walk to the paddock and to forage hard and to produce milk and get back in calf pretty easily. We say we don't have show ponies, we've got workhorses because they just get the job done and just keep going. They're good animals.
I left the farm with my head full of new ideas. Bruce told me that cattle breeds such as Friesians are being bred for heat tolerance these days. But the hybrid vigour of the Vallance's herd seemed to already be going some way towards this. Surely a more robust cow is a more resilient cow. And with people like Andrea influencing education, I felt hopeful, not just about regenerative agriculture in the area, but the future of local children and their understanding of the opportunities and challenges involved in food production.
That's what's great. The freedom is wonderful because I can be milking cows or doing something and writing ideas up my arm on the high tide shit mark.
About 2 weeks after I visited the farm, the soil test for the Vallance's trial site came in. I asked Jeff Rollinson, coordinator of Heytesbury District Landcare Network, who is heading up the Resilient Farms project, what the tests revealed.
We just received the test results back from Vallance's farm. With the soil carbon, there were some significant decreases in carbon levels, and also with the organic matter. Now, there's really no cause for alarm because the rainfall levels were actually quite a bit drier in summer of 2021, and also at the time of testing there were some grazing impacts as well. On the upside, the trial plots had a VSA score of 15.5, which is a moderate to low quality of soil in the initial testing. In the 2021 testing, though, there were some significant increases in score values. We put that down to the water holding capacity of the trial plots and also the effect of applying compost and the multi-species pasture. Another a positive outcome of that was the increase in dry matter yield. In the initial testing in 2020, the figures were typically around 3 tonnes per hectare, but in the space of 12 months, which is a relatively short period, the dry matter yields increased by about 25% to 4 tonnes per hectare. So from a productivity point of view and from an economic benefit point of view, that was a great outcome. Another good outcome was in the area of key nutrient content. So the trial plots demonstrated a greater increase in key nutrient content compared with the control plot, and in particular that related to the tillage method, which involved the soil key and no compost. That, when compared with nutrient increases in the control plots, which is basically normal practice, there was a much lower level of nutrient increase. Another great outcome with the trials from one year to the next was that in the trial plots, that both included the use of the soil key machine and multi-species pasture, even though the summer of 2021 was much drier in the trial plot area, they actually retained their soil moisture, whereas in the control plot, where there was no soil key tillage, it lost a significant amount of soil moisture. So in the space of 1 year, that really is quite an unexpected and positive outcome. On Valance's property, the trial plots of a hectare each. Trial plot 1 included the use of the soil key machine without compost. Trial plot 2 was the soil key and compost. And the third plot was the control, which is a business as usual pasture. What we expected to see and what did evolve was that the use of the soil key machine, which has low tillage times, it basically provided a sort of a green mulch in the process of planting the seed. So the 12 months down the track, what we expected to see was higher growth rates and greater soil moisture retention, and that did in fact come about.
Well, the Valance's mixed species experiment has produced some mixed results, but things are definitely moving in the right direction, especially when it comes to dry matter yield and nutrient content, which is good news for both the farmers and the cows.